We're out of time. It's been a really fascinating discussion. I'm grateful to you all for your time this evening. Emily Harding, Justin Crum and Kim Darroch, always good to have your company. Thank you for being with us. We will have continued the conversation tomorrow night. I hope you will join us for that. We'll be back same time as usual. Have a very good evening.
Hello there, I'm Ollie Foster with the latest sports news. England have moved to the top of their group at the Women's T20 World Cup. Lots more, of course, on the BBC Sport website or your BBC Sport app. But that is all the sport from me. Goodbye.
Good evening. It's been a pleasant autumn day in the sunshine, but shower clouds are not really arriving yet. 14 to 17 degrees here, but noticeably colder in Scotland. And as we go out of Wednesday into Thursday, gale force gusts of winds are going to push plenty of frequent showers steadily south. There will be some sunny spells, but it will be a cooler story for all. And in fact, temperatures are likely to peak between 8 and 12 degrees, a little bit below par for where we should be at this stage in October. And then as we move through Friday into Saturday, a brief ridge of high pressure builds across England and Wales, quietening things down.
Discover unique stories. Where would we be without Mozart? He is classical music.
He is above and beyond
just about holding the front here.
Nobody believes what they're being told. Nobody believes even what they see on their screens. This is important information.
And the destruction
What's the zeitgeist today? Because it's very different.
Yeah, it is very different. I think it's more anxious.
I know this was the military junta because
only on the BBC. Watch on iPlayer.
When you can hear the tear gas canisters being lobbed at the protesters.
Hello, my partner left this morning. She hasn't returned home.
Nicola Bulley's disappearance sparked a media frenzy.
Where's she gone?
Now those inside the story are speaking out.
Why don't every weekday direct to your inbox. Go to bbc.co.uk/News Daily and sign up now.
And I understand that.
I always expected Nicky to come walking through the door.
The search for Nicola Bulley. Press red to watch now on BBC iPlayer.
BBC News at 10 o'clock. Clive, Myrie in Tel Aviv and Jane Hill in the studio.
At 10, we're live in Tel Aviv, where in the last half an hour, several long-range missiles have been fired towards central Israel, the third time today. They were intercepted by Israel's air defense systems. On the same day, commemorations have been taking place, marking 1 year on since the Hamas attacks.
At the same time here in Beirut, loud explosions from Israeli airstrikes have been heard across the city. And in the south of Lebanon, the Israeli Air Force says it attacked more than 100 Hezbollah targets in just an hour.
Israel has been remembering those who died and were taken hostage in the Hamas attacks exactly 1 year ago. We hear from some of those affected by Israel's campaign in Gaza. We will bring you the very latest from right across the region.
And also on tonight's programme, 4 children are in hospital after a school bus crashed in County Down. More than 40 people were on board. And protecting the Earth from dangerous flying space rocks. A mission is launched to study an asteroid system.
On Newsnight
on BBC London, the food outlets found to be displaying misleading hygiene ratings to customers.
And our regular panel of Newsnighters.
Found many with false scores on show
about tomorrow's news.
Good evening to you from Tel Aviv, where rockets have just been fired towards central Israel and this city, which has been marking 1 year since the Hamas attacks of October the 7th. At the same time, Israel has been striking targets in southern Beirut. As we were about to come on air tonight, several long-range missiles were fired into Israel. Our team took cover as the defense system high above swung into action. It's believed this latest attack came from Lebanon. Earlier, there were rockets fired into Israel from Gaza and from Yemen. The pain of a nation. Well, this evening, Israel has again hit targets in the south of the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The Israeli army had earlier called on residents there to leave their homes. Anna Foster joins us live from the city now. Just bring us up to date with the latest, Anna.
Clive, the southern suburbs of Beirut are increasingly starting to look like a hollowed out shell. People have left that area. So many airstrikes over the last 10 days or so have collapsed buildings.
The continuing trauma there of those on the other side of the front line. And Victoria will have more analysis on events 1 year on since the Hamas attacks on Newsnight over on BBC Two shortly. Hi there, Victoria.
Hi, Clive. Yeah, tonight as the Middle East conflict escalates on multiple fronts, Newsnight asks, how will these wars end? And we talk to a woman whose parents were taken hostage by Hamas a year ago. Her mum has been released. Her elderly father is still being held. Newsnight's on BBC Two and iPlayer at 10:30.
Thank you for that. Well, we'll have more from here in Tel Aviv a little later in the programme. But for now, it's back to you, Jane, in the studio.
Clive, thank you for now. 4 children are being treated in hospital tonight after a double-decker school bus carrying more than 40 people crashed and ended up on its side in County Down. The Northern Ireland Ambulance Service declared a major incident. Our Ireland correspondent Chris Page sent this report from the scene. Now, before we look at the weather, just to tell you that the annual Draconid meteor shower should be visible for the next few nights. The shooting stars will appear as streaks of light in the evening sky, just above the Big Dipper constellation, as long as the skies are clear. Meteor showers occur when the Earth passes through the debris of a comet or an asteroid. The debris, usually chunks of rock or ice, hit the atmosphere and burn up, sending out the light. So let's look at the weather. As promised, here's Ben Rich. Hello.
Yeah, the skies may not always be clear, I'm afraid, Jane. In fact, low pressure is the name of the game for the next couple of days. And one of these areas of low pressure, Jane.
Ben, thank you very much. And let's get more on our main story here tonight. Let's rejoin Clive in Israel. Clive.
Jane, thank you. It wasn't just here in Israel where people were marking 1 year since the October the 7th attacks. President Biden lit a ceremonial candle at the White House. He said the US was committed to Israel's security and that far too many civilians have suffered far too much during this year of conflict. Sir Keir Starmer called October the 7th the darkest day in Jewish history since the Holocaust.
And determination.
And if you want to continue watching the BBC News at 10, please turn over to BBC One, or you can watch on iPlayer. Next, it's News.
There was a large gathering in Australia too, and vigils and prayers were held in many European nations. This was in Germany, marking 1 year on, commemorating those who died and calling for the release of hostages still being held in Gaza. Let's get a final word now
from Israel marks
Jeremy
1
Bowen,
year since the Hamas assault on its people.
Jeremy, across the
its
day,
enemies
we've
still
had
want to
attacks
destroy
on
Israel,
from Hamas,
and Israel is still trying to destroy its enemies.
From Hezbollah.
So
Israel
how
says
will
Iran
these
is the
wars
mastermind
end?
behind all that. Is an attack on Iran by the Israelis inevitable now?
Well, last week, Iran attacked Israel with ballistic missiles. And the Prime Minister has already said, Mr. Netanyahu has said that there will be retaliation. They'll teach Iran a lesson, as he put it. The questions
Good evening, welcome to Newsnight. A year on from Hamas's killing of 1,200 people in southern Israel and the capture of over 251 hostages. Israel finds itself fighting wars on multiple fronts.
And also its nuclear
Rockets have just been fired towards Tel Aviv, which has been marking 1 year since the Hamas attacks of October the 7th. The BBC's team took cover as Israel's defence systems swung into action.
Americans' fear is that
it's believed this latest attack came from Lebanon.
Now, here
Millions
in Israel,
of people across central Israel would have
there's an
rushed to
increasing
shelters.
lobby.
Tonight, the Israeli Defense Force says its fighter jets launched missiles at Hezbollah's intelligence headquarters in Beirut.
To Iran, and that
the day itself
would
has been marked by
those
commemoration
sites.
ceremonies in Israel
the
and
Middle
across
East
the world.
Is waiting for what
Israel is grieving
decides,
still
I
and
think
praying for the
nervously.
return of the remaining 97 people being held
Indeed.
by Hamas,
Jeremy,
designated as a terrorist group by several governments, including the UK.
Just a reminder that we do have
Tonight,
a
we're
special
going to
day
reflect
of coverage
on some
the
of the events of
situation
today
here in the
and
Middle
also
East
ask
throughout
does
tomorrow.
Israel and
That's
its
it from us
allies
here
try
in Tel
and
Aviv
end
now.
these wars.
Time to
Plus,
join
we'll hear from
our
a
news teams
Palestinian
wherever you
journalist
are.
and mum of
Have a very
two,
good night.
who we've spoken to before on the programme, forced from her home in Gaza, where almost 42,000 people have been killed by Israel's troops, according to the Hamas-run health ministry. Here with us tonight, Sir Mark Ryle-Grant, UK Ambassador to the UN from 2009 to 2015, and the UK's National Security Advisor between 2015 and 2017.
Good evening.
Nomi
An undercover
from the
BBC
Foreign
London
Affairs
investigation
Chatham
has
House,
discovered food
and who
outlets,
works as a
including
peace
a
negotiator.
Sainsbury's, misleading the public
Dr.
about their
Hassan
hygiene
Jabari
ratings.
is a director
Under the law,
of
any
Adala,
venue
which is a
which serves
Palestinian
food
human
in
rights
England,
organisation
Wales and Northern
in
Ireland
Israel.
must be inspected and
And Dame
rated.
Louise Ellman is
Secret
here,
filming by
honorary
the BBC
president
has
of
caught
the Jewish
numerous
Labour
places
Movement.
with the lowest
Welcome, all of you.
ratings
Thank
lying
you very
about
much for
their
being with
schools,
us on
which one
Newsnight
expert
tonight.
said could amount
First, though,
to
we are
fraud.
going to speak
Guy Lynn
to
reports.
Sharon Lifshitz.